Hello.
Hello. Happy Monday. Welcome to our first ever live episode of Donna and Cheryl TV, Keeping It Real. We're going to be here with you Monday to Friday, 12:30 every day, probably for around 15, 20 minutes. And today we're going to be talking to you about living life, fur coat and no knickers. Yeah. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I always remember, Cheryl, the first time I told Ali, our friend Ali, that expression, and he literally fell off the chair. He went, "Did you just say like fur coat, no knickers?" I was like, "Yes." He was like, "Are you for real?" I went, "Yeah, it's just what we say. It's how we roll." And it says what it means on the tin, doesn't it? Living life, fur coat, no knickers.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk to you about why that's the topic, because it was something that we were living by. But in amongst that, so we're going to be sharing with you some of our techniques that we use every day, so that we don't feel like we're wearing fur coat and no knickers. We feel like we are nailing it because our self-confidence is supercharged.
100%. So, and we're going to, any comments you've got, just share away. Want to hear what your experience is. This is all about life experience, guys, life lessons. So please feel free, wherever you're joining us from, to share yours as well. Get involved. It's way more fun that way.
Absolutely.
So, this came up, didn't it? Because we've spent the last week doing a Supercharge Your Self-Confidence challenge with over 200 amazing individuals who turned up because they really wanted more self-belief in their life. And we were reflecting, weren't we? Because it's nearly 2 years since we started our business, and really going into that place of like, what does it feel like when you really, really want something, but you don't have the confidence to do it. And the fact that we've, in every element of life, you're always stretching yourself and growing. But we had that same experience where we really wanted something, but didn't know how to do it. And when we very first started, like from the get-go, people would be saying to us, "God, you're really nailing it. You're all over social media. You look fantastic." And that was where I was like, we must be like fur coat, no knickers.
Like literally, because if you think like we've got 20 years plus in corporate life, we're used to leading massive teams, we're used to coaching people. So in terms of the skill set, we're qualified to do what we do. However, we'd never set up a business. Like we'd never been an entrepreneur. Like even calling ourselves an entrepreneur when we first started up felt really
Well, we used to giggle, didn't we? We're like, well, entrepreneurs, ooh, like, ridiculous.
And at the time we were both working in HQ because we were allowed to be in each other's houses at the time, which seems so odd now. But literally, for the first 6 months, it was like heads down, bottom up. Like literally, their hands were on fire on the laptops, like trying to build a business, and we were using mentors and we'd invested in different online programs to give us guidance. But really, did we know what we were doing? Like from day to day, we're just making shit up as we went along.
Like we always knew how to coach. So that was never the issues. I'm just loving, somebody said like, but I think it was Wendy said, we're more like fur knickers and no coach, which is a fair appraisal. But really it's about like we didn't know, we knew how to coach and we were really good at coaching. We'd spent 20 years in our corporate lives as senior leaders coaching people and getting great results. But coaching someone and knowing how to have a coaching business are like such different things. And then because I suffer massively from imposter syndrome, like massively, for me, that screaming voice, my inner crazy lady was like, "You've got no idea what you're doing. Don't be so ridiculous. You cannot be an entrepreneur. Like, can you hear yourself?" Really going crazy at me. So my urge to have everything perfect was really off the scale, wasn't it, Cheryl? Like, I didn't want to just send out like a freebie workbook. Like it had to be like the best, prettiest workbook. I didn't want to go on a live unless I had all my nice clothes on and my makeup done and the house behind me was immaculate, and it was a bit mental, wasn't it, at first?
I mean, when I look back, like we were laughing about this the other day, because obviously we go live all the time now. When I look back when we first set up at the makeup, you'd think I was going clubbing.
I used to do your makeup for you, didn't I? Like eyeshadow and like Cheryl doesn't wear makeup, guys, like through the day, totally au naturel, doesn't bother her at all.
It was hilarious, but because we were wanting to appear externally more confident that we felt internally because it was something new. Where it was just like getting our war paint on, wasn't it? Ready to go.
War paint.
Like nobody's really interested in the makeup, are they? They just want to hear what we've got to say. So.
Yeah, I'm like a girly girl though. I do like the look. I wouldn't scare the public coming on without my eyebrows. Like I'll always at least have my eyebrows on, guys. I promise you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think, one of the first things we learned was, people aren't really bothered, to be fair, even whether you've got your eyebrows on or not, whether your hair's done, whether your house looks tidy behind you. We learned really quickly that what our community wanted was those stories that we're telling and sharing. They weren't bothered about it being perfect because they didn't know what perfect looked like. That was just something that was in our head. And that's a really important point when you're working on your self-confidence and you're thinking, if you're going to do a presentation in work or you're presenting to, a group of entrepreneurs or online, or we're all online these days, if you're thinking that it has to be perfect before you do it, you're really just causing yourself unnecessary pain, aren't you? Because what is perfect? Your idea of perfect, Cheryl's idea of perfect, my idea of perfect are all going to be different. But when you've got imposter syndrome, having that perfectionism tendency is a real thing.
Absolutely. And we, over the 2 years whilst we've been doing our business, we've been to see different people speak in different, like 7-8 figure entrepreneurs, and they're all giving the same message. I went to an expert Embody's event last year, and all of the entrepreneurs who are really successful are giving the same message. Like, putting something out is better than putting nothing out and wanting it to be perfect. And when you're starting out, it's like we put the expectation on ourselves to be perfect, to where like the people who want to hear what you've got to say or on the receiving end of whatever task it is that you're doing, they don't know whether it's perfect or not. They're happy with whatever it is you're given. It's this pressure that we put on ourselves, particularly if you've got imposter syndrome, that it's got to be right. And then quite often that holds us back from doing anything because nothing is perfect. We can't get things perfect. So then it holds us back from really like contributing and putting stuff out there and handing work in, like whatever it is, whatever you do in your life.
But I think the thing is with it, when you've got imposter syndrome, you're not really spotting that that's what you're doing. You've got this real belief that it has to be that way, otherwise it can't go. So it's learning to be your own advocate, or having a friend or someone that you can bounce off to say, what does this look like, or what does this sound like, or if you receive this, or if you saw this, because otherwise you will just go in ever decreasing circles and never really get yourself out there. And we meet a lot of entrepreneurs now, and that's a big thing. Like this, Jo was saying about always wanting to be in her office at first until she would go live. And it's so true, isn't it? We're trying to really present this how we want to be seen, and what people want to see is real, like, because this is what we all look like on a morning or whatever. Yeah,
absolutely. And our coach, Nick, our coach who we work with, she's of the same vein. I mean, she's been in business for years, but it's just, she doesn't seek perfection, or it's all about keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
Like being authentic, just being yourself. Like that's what people want to see, hear and feel.
But be real about it. So when we were saying we wanted to, we said from the get-go, like, we didn't set out just to have a local business, or we really wanted to be the best leaders of transformational coaching in the world. And that's still what we want to be. Cheryl and I want to be known in the top echelons of coaching society for being the best at what we do. And that stretches us, and it helps us to keep learning. It helps us to keep growing, not just as entrepreneurs, but as coaches. Like, we study several hours a day, every single day. Like, on my day off, I will still study because that's what I love to do. I love to grow and learn. And so for us, when we were saying we're the best, when we started out the door, we're saying, like, the goal is to be the best leaders, coaching people in transformation. Like, that's, you'll come to us when you want your mindset transformed. That was because it was for us about embodying who we wanted to be. So our end goal was really clear. So while we didn't have the confidence of knowing we wanted to be entrepreneurs and, how to have this fancy brand and pretty colors and fonts and everything, we had this real clear intention of coming from the place of making decisions like we were that person, like we were that brand, didn't we? That was so important to us, that we stayed in like real integrity about the decisions that we'd made about now is your time from day one.
Yeah. And I think, this is where the use of your positive affirmations come in, because this is something I still say to myself numerous times a day. I believe it more now than I did when we first started out. So yeah, day 1, 2, week 1, month 1 of business, and we are affirming to ourselves that we're world leaders in coaching transformation. Do we always feel it every day when we get up? No. However, coming from that place and reminding ourselves, which is beautiful that we've got 2 of us, because when one of us is feeling a bit crappy one day and the other one's feeling in the vibe, we can then support each other. But particularly if you're making any decisions about your life, about your role, about your career, is when you put yourself in the place of world leaders and coaching transformations, which is where we come from, you're making decisions from your higher self.
Yeah.
When you're not in that place where you want to be and you're coming from where you are, like had we been sat in HQ, like getting all of this stuff perfect and then making decisions from where we were in the ego, oh God, we've only had the business a month and and we were making decisions from that point, that wouldn't have took us to where we were today. Now 2 years on, we have coaching clients around the world, you know, so we wouldn't have got to that point had we not embodied and stepped into who it is that we desire to be at the beginning. Really helped to move our business on, didn't it?
And I think it's a really different mindset because, you know, you're brought up as like seeing is believing. I used to say that all the time, didn't I, Cheryl, when I used to work, unless I've seen it, I don't believe it. And actually over these years, I've really flipped that. And I remember reading it years ago and not really getting it. But like this last 2 years, I've really got it. It's like when you believe it, then you'll see it. So when you really believe it, when you are steeped in the belief that something will happen, it will then come true, which is what we were living into. But the thing around that, what I would say is, whilst we, you know, if somebody said to me, you've got it all going on, we were very, very honest in saying, don't be fooled. Like, it looks like that we've, you know, we have worked really hard to have a professional website and have professional branding, and we invested time and energy and money into that. But, you know, we're still learning, we're still new. We never, ever professed to be anything more than what we were. And we would join groups and we would learn and we would join courses because we didn't want to get ourselves into that position where we were pretending. Like, this isn't about faking it. This is about embodying where you want to be, talking into that and talking from that space and that place. But equally having that honesty and that integrity around knowing what it is that you need to learn. And we find that a lot of clients get stuck with this bit, don't they? In a lot of our community, Cheryl, when they're going to new jobs or doing something new, they feel like they have to be the expert straight away because they've been paid to be in that role.
Yeah. And then you put undue pressure on yourself, because once you set your stall out, it's very hard to go into a role and pretend that you're confident and you're competent and you know all about X, and you don't. So then you've got to get yourself to a point where you do, but you're putting pressure on yourself. You're making yourself feel like you haven't even less self-confidence because you know that you feel like you're faking it and you're telling lies. And really you can't then go back and go, oh, by the way, when I joined the company 6 months ago and I said that I knew how to do this, I really don't. Probably get sacked. So it's really important to keep it real, you know, and that comes from having the confidence to be able to say, you know what, I'm really great at these things and this is what I bring to the role. However, you know, as we discuss, whether in the interview or whatever it is, this is an area I want to improve on, and these are the ideas I've got to do it. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we invested in support to help us with the bits we didn't know how to do, but we didn't go out to our clients and pretend that we knew we could coach.
Yeah.
You know, experts in coaching mindset, but we didn't pretend we knew all the other stuff, because it just makes you feel like you're faking it, and feeling like you're faking it doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't make you feel like you're in flow. It's certainly not going to boost your confidence because you're waiting for somebody to find out that you're telling lies, basically.
And that thing, I always struggled with that, saying fake it till you make it. Just for me, it never resonated. And as somebody who had imposter syndrome and has imposter syndrome and has dealt with it for so many years, then someone telling me to fake it till I make it just felt like I'm already faking it and I'm hanging on by my fingernails. So really doing it from a place of honesty and integrity, but talking to the space that you know you want to be in terms of your goals and aligning to that with your decisions is such a different thing to do, and really just embodying the person that you want to be. We did this with the guys last week in the challenge, and it was one of the most powerful exercises of really connecting to who it is that you want to be. And we'll be talking more about that this week.
And ask for help. Like, ask for help. And it's something that, again, we don't like to do, because what will the people think of us, and they're going to judge us because I'm asking for help. But actually, you know, sometimes being asked to help someone is a really nice thing. When somebody comes and says, oh, actually, I noticed you're really good at that, do you mind helping? Like 99% of the time, the person says yes, because it feels good to be asked, because you're boosting their confidence by asking them. So 100%. Asking for help is something that we don't like to do because of insecurities, but actually it will help us to boost our in-house secure, make us feel more secure, make us feel more confident the more we do it. So
absolutely. One of the things I'd invite you all to do, if you haven't watched it already, is to watch the 1-hour Imposter Syndrome masterclass. It's 7 strategies on how to tackle your imposter syndrome. It's totally free. We'll drop the link under the comments for you guys, because it's an hour with 7, like the strategies that we give in it are so powerful, and the ones I've been using for many, many years. You know, 5-10 years ago, I couldn't have set up my own business with Cheryl. It's through the application and the consistency of applying those practices that enabled me to have the gumption to finally set up a business with Cheryl. Cheryl would have probably always done it. It was different things holding you back. It was different limiting beliefs. But from an imposter syndrome perspective, I can't recommend highly enough, and please share it with anybody that you think needs the help.
Yeah, we'll get the link dropped in here in the comments so you can see. And then download it. It is so powerful.
So thank you guys.
Me, thank you so much for being with us for our first edition.
First episode. So tomorrow we'll be dropping in again. We're going to stick on the theme of self-confidence again tomorrow, but sharing with you some different nuggets of gold that you're going to want to take away and start applying if you really want to bring more confidence, more self-belief into your life and keep building on being the best version of you.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching, guys. Have an amazing day. Over and out.
Bye, guys.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.